Okay, welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going to tell you about some pretty unsettling stories based on sources you shared with us.
Yeah, these all center around discoveries made on, believe it or not, forgotten or just discarded USB flash drives.
Right. Little things you find lying around. But the content, it's not just lost documents.
No, not at all. We're talking about things that tell some really strange and sometimes deeply disturbing stories.
So what we'll do is basically walk you through these stories one by one. We'll lay out the details from the sources, what was actually found, the weird circumstances.
Think of it like digging into a collection of modern-day mysteries, you know? Each one starting with this tiny piece of common tech.
And the kind of stuff found, it ranges pretty widely. Personal photos that take a really sinister turn.
Hidden lists, even some incredibly graphic videos. It's quite a mix.
All right, let's get into the first one. This story apparently happened in Canada, maybe six and a half years ago. Someone found a plain USB stick. It was just sitting on their doorstep.
Just left there. And initially, it seemed pretty innocuous.
Yeah, they plugged it in, and the source says it just had dozens of pictures on it.
Okay.
But then, as they clicked through, things got weird. The first few were like normal photos around town, places they knew.
Standards.
And a few photos in, they saw themselves in one of the pictures, standing in a crowd on a busy street.
Whoa, okay. That's jarring.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it didn't stop there. The next photos also showed them, but the photographer was getting closer each time.
So clearly not accidental. It implies they were being watched, followed maybe, without knowing it.
Like surveillance. The photos kept tracking them in public. Then, the really chilling part. Photos of their house at night with the living room light on. You could see inside.
It kept getting closer.
Yeah. The next shots were taken right outside the living room window. Super clear view of the person inside just watching TV.
Because of the light inside versus the dark outside, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't see the person taking the picture.
Precisely. Oblivious. So after a bunch of photos like that from outside, the next picture was taken from inside the house.
No! Seriously?
Yeah. From the hallway, looking towards the living room, presumably after they'd gone upstairs.
So whoever it was, they actually got inside the night before.
That's what it confirms. The rest of the photos basically document this intruder's path. Pictures of the other rooms, downstairs, kitchen, dining area, all dark.
After the person went to sleep.
Then photos going up the stairs, towards the bedroom.
This is getting worse and worse.
The second to last photo. It's a picture of the person fast asleep in their bed.
Oh my God. That's unbelievably creepy.
Completely vulnerable, unaware. And then, the very last image on the drive.
What was it?
It was a close-up, perfectly framed, a handwritten note.
And it said?
It just said, "Never hide a spare key under your doormat."
Wow. So they literally spelled out how they got in and left the evidence.
Yep. The source mentions the person moved house pretty quickly after that, which you absolutely would.
I can't even imagine finding photos of yourself sleeping, taken by someone who broke into your home and then left on your doorstep. The violation is just immense.
It really is. It shows how vulnerable we can be and how digital stuff can make that even scarier.
For sure. Okay, what's the next story?
All right, this next one. Someone found a USB drive on a park bench late at night.
Just lying there.
Yeah. They waited around for a bit, but nobody came back for it. So they took it home. Figured they'd turn it into lost and found or something.
Yeah, Brie, curiosity got the better of them.
Seems like it. Plugged it in, and there was only one file on it.
Okay.
An Excel file titled A Little Black Book.
Okay. That sounds potentially interesting. Or shady.
Right. So they opened it. It was a list. Names, addresses, and numbers next to them.
How many names?
About 40 or 50 total entries, the source said. And the numbers were pretty big, like 30,000, 60,000.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay, that's odd. Addresses in large numbers.
And here's the key thing. About half the names, maybe 25 or so, were highlighted in red.
Red flags, literally. So what did they make of it?
Well, first they were just confused. Why this list? What are the numbers? So they did a little digging, looked up some of the names in black.
Yeah.
They were real people living at those exact addresses. The data checked out.
Okay, so the list is accurate, but why?
Then they searched for a name highlighted in red. Let's call him Mr. X, the source says.
And what about Mr. X?
He was real too, lived at that address,
Yeah.
but he'd passed away a few years before under mysterious circumstances.
Oh, okay, that's dark. Did they check others in red?
They did. Mrs. Y, Dr. Z, whoever. And the pattern held. Every single name highlighted in red belonged to someone who had died, mysteriously, or in some kind of unfortunate accident.
Oh my God. So SETI started thinking.
Yeah. They connected the dots, the addresses, the deaths, the highlighting, the large numbers.
It looks like a hit list.
That was the terrifying conclusion they reached, that this was some kind of ledger, a hit list, and the numbers, the price, the contract amount for each person.
Jeez. Did they go to the police?
Immediately.
Yeah.
Handed the USB straight over. But the source says they never heard anything back about it.
Yeah.
No updates, nothing.
So many questions. Was it lost accidentally? Or maybe left there deliberately for someone else to find?
You'd think the owner wouldn't want this found, right? Given the content.
Absolutely not. But it just shows chilling records of potential crimes can just be floating around on these tiny, easily lost devices.
A lost spreadsheet, potentially documenting multiple murders. It's pretty mind-boggling.
And without that drive, those deaths might just remain mysterious circumstances forever. Scary.
Okay, moving on. This next one comes via a friend of the source. They were helping clear out an old house, totally abandoned.
Right, like urban exploring or just cleaning up?
More like cleaning it out.
Yeah.
And way up in the dusty attic, amongst all the old junk, they find something that doesn't fit.
And what was it?
A modern USB drive. Looked totally out of place. And it had a label on it.
Let me guess. Some creepy.
Yep, just 2 words. Hammerman.
Okay. Hammerman. That's not subtle. What was on it?
They checked it out, feeling pretty nervous about it, apparently. Just one file. A big video file.
A video. Oh, boy.
Yeah. The friend who found it described it as looking like it was filmed on a phone. Kind of shaky. And it seemed like a compilation, like several clips edited together into a sort of highlight reel.
A highlight reel bag.
Well, it started with a guy in a mask in the back of a truck. He's holding a hammer, laughing with the person filming.
Okay.
The source said the language sounded maybe like Russian, but they weren't sure. Then the truck would just stop suddenly. The masked guy jumps out, runs towards someone walking alone. Just a random person on a quiet road or path.
Oh, no, don't tell me.
He attacks them with the hammer, hits them in the head. The descriptions from the source are really graphic.
How graphic.
Things like seeing a big dent in the head, victims just dropping with no movement, pools of red spurting out. You could apparently hear the thumps of the hammer hitting.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's horrific. What happened after the attack?
The attacker and the cameraman would just jump back in the truck, still laughing, according to the source, and the truck speeds off immediately.
And there are multiple clips like this.
Yeah, the friend said there were 7 or more clips following this exact pattern. Just driving around, finding lone, innocent people and assaulting them with a hammer for apparently no reason at all.
Just random brutal violence recorded. Did any of the victims survive?
The source indicated it really didn't look like it. They all just dropped.
Unbelievable cruelty. What did they do with the drive?
Gave it to the authorities, of course. But again, no known outcome. The friend just hopes they were caught eventually.
Finding something like that, it's just horrifying. Documented, senseless violence, treated like entertainment by the people doing it, and just left in an attic.
Yeah, how does a drive like that end up forgotten in an abandoned house?
Oh.
Adds another layer of just strangeness to the whole awful thing.
Absolutely. Okay. Wow. Let's take a breath. There's more.
There are. This next one is more recent. Happened in Anchorage, Alaska. A woman just found a USB drive lying in the street. Looked like someone had just dropped it.
Okay. And this one had a label too.
It did. It read, "Homicide at Midtown Marriott."
Whoa. Okay. That's very direct. Did she check it? Or hand it in?
She handed it straight to the police, and according to the authorities quoted in the source, the label was accurate, and the content was extremely disturbing.
What did it show?
It had numerous images and videos documenting the murder of a woman.
Oh, God. Explicitly.
Yes, the source says 39 images and 12 videos. The pictures showed the woman being beaten, strangled in a hotel room, and later her body in the back of a pickup truck.
And the video?
One of the videos showed the actual strangulation.
That's horrific. Just found on the street.
Yeah, but this evidence became incredibly important. Police had previously found the remains of a woman by the side of a road, using the photos and videos from this USB.
They were able to connect the remains to the victim on the drive.
Exactly. They were able to link them. Though, sadly, the source notes her identity was still unknown at the time of reporting.
But did it help find who did it?
Yes. This was the crucial part. The killer. He actually appeared in several of the pictures he took.
He filmed himself. Or photographed himself with the victim.
Appeared in the photos, yeah. Documenting his crime. And based on those images.
They identified him.
They did. Police identified him as a man named Brian Stephen Smith. He was already linked to another investigation, apparently, They took him into custody pretty quickly after the drive was found.
Wow. So the killer basically dropped the evidence that led right to him.
Pretty much. The source mentioned this was quite recent, and the case is ongoing.
It's just incredible. Tragic for the victim, obviously, but the fact that his own documentation, accidentally lost, led to his capture.
It's a stark example of digital evidence playing a direct role. Sometimes a perpetrator creates the key to solving their own crime.
Especially when they feel the need to record it. Unbelievable. Okay, one more.
One final story. This one also comes via a friend, someone who worked at a big news station.
Okay.
One day, they found a USB drive just sitting on their desk at work. Plain, unmarked. No note, nothing.
Weird. Did they think it was work-related?
Yeah, that was the assumption. Just plugged it in thinking it was maybe files for a story or something.
And what was actually on it?
Bunch of video files. MP4s. Named very simply, int1, int2, int3, like each one about 5 minutes long.
It's like interview.
That's what it seemed like. They clicked on the first one. The video shows this guy sitting in a plastic chair on a beach somewhere tropical, looked like maybe Thailand at sunset or twilight.
Yeah, okay.
And he's being filmed by someone holding a camera, kind of shaky. And yeah, it was clearly an interview. Questions coming from off camera.
An interview about what? On a beach?
Well, it started off casual, just chatting. Then the interviewer asks, completely out of the blue, "So, how many women have you killed since you've moved here?"
It's like that.
Just like that. And the guy on camera replies, just as casually, "Oh man, around 20 or 25 so far. I kind of started losing count when I hit double digits."
You're kidding me. A confession on video.
A detailed one. According to the friend, the guy went on and on, talking about his murders, how easy it was over there, finding victims he called easy pickings.
Oh my God.
He described mutilation as a hobby, gave tips for getting away with murder, like targeting people who ain't gonna be missed.
This is insane. And the tone was casual.
That's what shook the friend the most. The guy talking, and the interviewer asking questions. They were apparently relaxed, even laughing about some of the horrifying details. The source described it as like a manual for psychos.
I don't even know what to say. What did the friend do? Did they figure out who left it?
No idea. They asked everyone at the station, boss included. Nobody knew anything about it. At first, they even wondered if it was some sick prank video.
But they reported it.
Yeah, they gave the USB to the police, just in case. And it wasn't a prank.
They identified the guy.
They did. The police recognized the man in the video. He was already wanted back in their home city for violent incidents, mostly against women.
And he disappeared.
His trail went cold when he left the country. Ended up in Southeast Asia, which is where they think these videos were filmed.
So the confession is likely real.
Given his history, the police strongly believed it was true. They apparently contacted Thai authorities to try and find him.
Any luck?
As far as the source knew, no. He had been caught at that point.
And the mystery of who left the USB?
Still unsolved.
Oh.
The best guess is that someone involved, maybe the person filming, maybe someone else who knew, had a change of heart, or maybe wanted him caught for some reason.
And they left it at a news station hoping for publicity.
That's the theory. An anonymous tip-off. But instead of becoming a news story, it went straight to the police investigation.
And the friend never heard anything more?
Nope. Just became this sort of weird, chilling footnote in their work life. No idea if the guy was ever apprehended.
Wow. A full confession to potentially dozens of murders just left on a desk. And the killer might still be out there.
It's a heavy one to end on. But all these stories, right, pulled off these tiny, forgotten USBs, it's kind of mind-blowing.
It really is. They paint this picture of, well, dark corners of the world, hidden activities, terrible secrets, all potentially locked away on something you could lose in your pocket.
And the way they surface is just pure chance most of the time. Found on a doorstep, a park bench, in an attic, dropped in the street, left on a desk.
Yeah, content that was absolutely never meant to be seen by the public, or maybe even by anyone other than the creator, suddenly exposed.
It shows how this digital information, stuff we create and discard so easily, can just reappear. Sometimes leading to justice, sometimes just revealing darkness.
It definitely makes you think, in this world just overflowing with digital data on phones, computers, drives, what else is out there? What
other secrets are just sitting on misplaced devices, waiting for someone to stumble upon them?
Exactly. A slightly unnerving thought to leave you with.
It certainly is. Well, thank you for joining us for this exploration of these very strange USB discoveries.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
If you found these stories intriguing or chilling, please do give this deep dive a like. Share it with anyone else you think might be interested.
And definitely subscribe to the Horror Docs channel for more looks into these kinds of unsettling finds and stories.
We really appreciate your support. Until next time, take care.
Bye, everyone.